So here's my spreadsheet. You can see that it's not quite the way I want it. I've got distance from sun, and it's 10 to the 6 kilometers, but the 6 is not superscript. My r cubed isn't superscript, there's no italics, and also the text is not showing because this width of the column is too small. So here's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to click on the A up here. I'm clicking actually on the A itself, and I'm dragging all the way to H. Then I find this line between A and B. See that icon with arrows extending out from the line? You double click right there, and now every column has auto-adjusted the width to fit the text. Then I'm going to click D through G, and I want to make these a little bigger because there's values that are going to be in there, so I'm just going to increase just the width of one of them, and now they all are arranged to the same size. Okay. Before I start copying my data from NASA into this spreadsheet, first I want to fix the superscripts and subscripts. So I highlight just the 6. I hit home. Oh, well, there's a shortcut. You hit Control-Shift-F on your Control-Shift-F, and it brings up this. And then I just click the superscript button, and I hit OK. Alright, what else do I need to do? The R, variables like R and T, they are italicized, so I highlight that R, just the R. I click on my keyboard Control and I at the same time to make italics, produce italics text. I double click to get into this cell. Then I highlight the T. I do Control I at the same time to make the T italics. I Control I this R right here. I Control I this T. I do not italicize the units like meters, seconds, because those units we leave on italics. Then I highlight the 3, just the 3. Whoops, kind of annoying, so I just click my mouse right here. Now I hold Shift on my keypad, on my keyboard, and I hit left. So Shift allows you to select text. So I'm doing Shift left because my mouse is kind of annoying. Then I do Control-Shift-F for font, and I make that font superscript. Check the superscript button. Then I highlight the 2 only. Shift-Control-F, superscript. And likewise for the seconds, superscript. Look at how fast this is. So much faster than trying to click home, font, arrow. It's just quicker to use the keyboard. What else was there? Meters cubed. Superscript. Enter. Okay. Now I can copy in my data. First I need the distance from sun. So that's this. I'm going to just copy and paste. See that star right there? That's the moon, so we don't want that. Distance from sun, orbital period. And again, these 2 values here are for the moon. The 4th column of data is the moon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me get rid of those, delete. And I'm going to cut these, Control-X, and paste Control-V. Okay. So now I'm just going to click on the cell, Control-X, click Control-V to paste. So Control-X to cut, Control-V to paste, and look how fast this is. Control-X, Control-V, Control-X, Control-V. I'm just moving it over from the row into the column where I want it. Control-X, Control-V. Hey, the Earth, 365.2. We calculated that value the other day in class. Okay, and I'm done. Now, you can leave it with this font, with this formatting, but I'm just going to highlight all of this. I'm going to do the paint bucket. Whoops, the paint bucket here. Can you see that? And I'm going to click that, no fill. Then I'm also going to click this, also in the font section of the ribbon. I'm going to click this button for borders. And do no border. No border is like the 5th choice down. Alright. Now you have to enter some formulas. I'm not going to show you my formulas. That's for you to figure out. So you go ahead and do those formulas, and I will do them as well. Okay, and I have intentionally done my formulas wrong. You do not have this data. You shouldn't. If you do have these values, then you've done something wrong too. I don't want you to see what the correct way is. I want you to figure that out. Alright, now I have to insert a chart. Now you might think, oh, here are the x and y values, right? But if you highlight these and then insert chart, the way that we've tried in the past, it's going to be flipped. They're going to put r on the x-axis and t on the y-axis. You want r cubed on the y, and you want t squared on the x. So I'm going to click an empty cell over here, and then I go to Charts. Under the Charts, oh well, I'm in the Insert tab, I should first say. There's File, Home, Insert, so click on Insert. And then you choose Charts, the scatter plot icon with just the dots. And then you choose the very first choice with no connecting lines. An empty chart appears because my mouse wasn't clicking anything when I inserted the chart. I'm sorry, I hadn't highlighted any cells when I inserted the chart, so it should be empty. Then I right-click, I do Select Data, about halfway down. There's nothing here to remove, but if there were series already pre-filled, I would click it and then hit Remove. Click Remove. But I'm going to add a new one. I go into the X values. I click into that field, and then I just highlight what I want on my x-axis, which is t squared. Then I highlight the equals 1, and I delete that. And then I highlight in my spreadsheet what I want for the x-axis, the y-axis rather, which is r cubed. And I hit OK, and I hit OK. All right, there's my graph. I'm going to change the chart title, put something here. I'm going to click on the white space, and then this plus appears. You click the plus. I'm going to need a trend line and axis titles. All right. So I will put something here. It's fine to put just R:3. You can do the Shift Control F. Actually, you know what? No, do the Shift Control F trick. Make it R cubed, superscript, and meters cubed. And then you'll have to put something here. And the final thing I need on my chart, there's one more thing I need in the spreadsheet, but I'm gonna click on my trend line, double click, and then this pops up on the right. Format trend line. If it doesn't show up, then you can click on the trend line, or you can hit the plus. Where you see trend line, click the arrow, and then you do more options. And then this will pop up. And I want to check the box that says Display Equation on Chart. Okay. Now when you check this box, this slope value is not going to have so many digits. The 539173, that's my slope because it's the coefficient to x. But yours is not going to have that many digits. It's just going to have like one digit, and that's not good enough. We need more digits. So here's what you have to do. You will type slope, and then you will in Excel do equals slope open parentheses. There's a formula that calculates the slope. Just like there's a formula that calculates the average of a bunch of values. If you highlight these, it'll average them all. There is a formula that calculates slope. Now, to access this, or to use this formula, open parentheses, you need to put your y values first, not the x's, but the y's first, and the x's second. So what are my y values? Oh yeah, r cubed. Comma, so I put a comma after my y's, then I highlight my x's, and then I close the parentheses, and voila, look at that. It's the exact same value, but now I've got more precision. You know, I can get some extra digits in there. Some decimal places. So you'll need that. Then you'll be opening up a new Word document and copying things over and using the equation builder to derive the things that we learned, or derive the things that you derived in your lab handout. So the things you derived in this lab handout, like up here, these equations where you proved that r cubed is equal to a constant times t squared, and you proved that this was the constant. You have to go through that, input these same equations, right? Walk through, explain it in your own words. Do that in Word using the equation builder. So let me show you how that goes. First, you do MLA heading. Don't forget the header. You can double click, header, Move it over to the right side. Insert page number. Where are page numbers? Here they are. Page number. Top of page. This is how you add the page number. And then next to it you put, your name. Okay. Then you briefly introduce here's the introduction I would write for my data table. Oh no, but before that, you sort of introduce, the derivation. Here's where I write my derivation. I explain the steps and what the equations mean in terms of the planets M and the sun big M. And I'll show you how I'm getting into that equation builder. I'll do that. So you'll have your equations here, you'll have some accompanying text to explain, then you'll have an introduction for your data table. You will copy all of this, Control-C, put a bunch of extra spaces down here, put a bunch of extra spaces down below, and then this way when you Control-V, right? And also when you Control-V, look at this little control button pops up. You can try different options, destination styles, ooh, source formatting, ooh, link and use destination. I like just destination styles. Or maybe link and destination styles came out good. Okay. So there's my table. If it's running off into 2 pages, just kind of click this box and move it over. Or you can bring these in, decrease the column width so that now you have space for everything. Or you can also just make the text as small as 10. 10 would be acceptable. But you can bring this way in. So I'll let you play around with that. And then you briefly introduce your graph. I click on the white space over here in the corner, Control-C. Whoops. I click here, Control-C to copy. Why is this happening? And then I do Control-V. There's my graph. And you can paste it as a picture if you prefer. Pasting as a picture, not a bad idea. Then I'm going to click over here to the right of my graph so that I'm on the other side of it, and I hit Enter to have some text. Right? Now, to access the equation builder, there's 2 ways. You push Alt and plus at the same time, and now you can type equations. And look at this, if you do 1/2 and you hit space, now there's a 1/2. But the equation builder can also be accessed by doing Insert on the top, and then on the far right you just click the pi. Don't hit the drop down, just click the pi itself. Pi. And now, look at this. Oh, look, when I'm in the equation builder, when I click into it, there's this extra Equation Tools Design tab in the ribbon. So you click that, and look, Script. There's all these Superscript options. Why aren't they showing up on my computer? Well, you can click the first one is the superscript. The second one is like a subscript. So you can click the superscript, then click into here and say R, click here, cubed. But you can also add fractions using this. So you've got different types of fractions you can add. Then I can Control-X, Control-V, paste that here. Maybe I want another superscript, so I hit script, and the first one is superscript, T squared. And now I have to go back into make sure you're in the equation builder. If you get over to here and you're not in it, and you try to type, and it's not working, you simply have to hit the left arrow, and now you're back in. Equals a constant. This equation states that blah, blah, blah. I can manipulate it to isolate R cubed. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to explain this derivation. Another way to get the superscript is to do R⁻⁶, and then you hit space. And if you want a subscript, you could do R sub Earth, right? Whoops, underline. And then you hit space. So the sub is the underscore, which is next to the plus sign. Shift, and then the minus is the underscore. And then you hit space. So this is how you use the equation builder. That's what you have to use for your equations. This is how you proceed.